Hi, this is Howard of AV Transfers UK, spending a little bit of time reminiscing about the old days. Right here, I managed to recently get hold of, for a little bit of cash, a Saisho cassette television radio. And wow, really cool unit with a really good sound. In pretty good nick, I must say. It's a PAL version with 12 volt or 240 volt inputs, and it has amazing stuff. It has a cassette player, and luckily the reason I liked this one was it was in good physical condition, and it has a functioning cassette deck, which means the belts are good. And look at that. I just gave it a bit of a clean. Inside we've got mono head and pinch roller, which I've given a rough clean. Unfortunately, it's got a magnet erase head, so I don't think its recordings will be too hot. But nevertheless, really nice. So the idea was, back in the 80s, you wanted a little TV by the bed or on a picnic, I guess. This was the thing to have. I think it's a 4-inch or 5-inch black and white screen, FM and AM.
In her speech yesterday, we've seen the dip back, and in addition, we've switched to a Vela boiler or heat pump. You could reduce your carbon footprint.
Okay, so I remember these. The reason I particularly went after one of these is back in South Africa, back in the day, mid to late 80s, I guess, there was one of these, and it was under the label Tedelex, and it was a silver finish, but it was pretty much identical. The same, obviously it came out the same factory, because other than that, you know, the controls, everything are exactly as I remember. The only difference with the South African one is that it had a Simulcast button, and what that was used for in South Africa was when a program had the original soundtrack, you could listen to it on the radio. So you would just tune it here to, I think it was Springbok Radio, which became Radio 2000, and you could hear the English soundtrack. So it would keep the television on, but play you the the Afrikaans or the English soundtrack, or whatever other language it was. If it was Xhosa or Zulu, whatever it was, you could hear the original soundtrack. It was only really a big thing for a couple of years, but it was a big deal in its day because it was pretty darn high tech. But this unit is virtually the same. I tried to get hold of some pictures of the Tedelex version. Tedelex was a South African distributor, probably is still a South African distributor. Basically stuff that came from the Far East. They would rebadge as their own, make a few changes. So the Tedelex version would have had the Simulcast button here, and it would have had VHF and UHF, not just UHF, but it would have been also PAL-I, and just a really nice machine. And if you look at this, look at that thing fly. It just really flies. A really nice unit. So it's a bit of nostalgia, a very sort of satisfying click over there. And okay, it is plastic fantastic, I won't lie, but it's a little bit less plasticky than the stuff that came afterwards. It wasn't overly bulky like the sort of early 90s stuff where everything was just kind of like swollen. Everything looked like it had an infection because it was all kind of bulging and rounded. I sort of liked the squareness of the 80s stuff, and sort of very much a function over form kind of thing. But this is a really nice unit in good condition. So let's see if we can test out the TV. Oops, I'm on tape now. There we go. Got a very good speaker in it as well. There we go. Let's see if we can get any TV channels here. What are we on? UHF.
Girls, it's a big responsibility keeping an evil villain in the house. You've got to feed him, water him, take him for walks, keep him from causing mayhem and chaos, and chewing the furniture.
So basically the picture is flickering on the camera because of the nature of the camera's CMOS shutter, I guess, or CMOS makeup. But that picture is not flickering to my eye. In fact, that's a really good analog picture without the flickering. And basically the back of it has a couple of controls. Your antenna, if you wanted to plug in a normal external antenna, a vertical hold, I think it's brightness and contrast. So really there's a lot of life in this tube, and pretty damn cool, you gotta admit.
Time for bed, girls. Blossom. Buttercup.
Yeah, so there you go. So you might say, oh, this is cool, you've got an analog channel going here in your office. And that is true, I do have one. Let me show you what it's all about. So some time ago, I'm talking 8-9 years ago, I purchased one of these. I don't know if they still make them, but this is a HLLY, I suppose that's HLLY, TVX-O2S transmitter. And what's nice about this is you can plug in composite video and audio, and I think it's supposed to be 2 watts, although I would think it's more like 200 milliwatts, but nevertheless it's very well made. It runs on 24 volts and everything is digitally controlled, and you're able to set your video frequency. I think it goes right down to VHF. And you can also change your audio subcarrier. So if you want to broadcast NTSC, you can set it to, what was it, 4.5 megahertz, or if you wanted to change it to, I guess, Australian or European formats, what were they, 6.5 megahertz, 5.5 megahertz? There was I think Israel as well. They all had slightly different variations on the sound frequency, but yeah, there we are. So really nice, solid little unit. This is not the correct antenna. That is just another sort of antenna I had, but really producing a great little picture. So if you are looking for something like this, this is what I'd recommend if they're still around. And great fun. I haven't tested the range fully on that. I've got a whole lot of miniature televisions I want to start testing and doing on the channel. Handheld televisions, Watchmans, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, stay tuned. But this is just an initial test, and a really nice transmitter. So yeah, that's Howard from AV Transfers, doing things to do with television today, I guess. Just having a bit of fun, bit of analog TV for today. So stay tuned. Bye for now.